How we doing, guys? We're going to let
Good
everybody.
afternoon.
We're going to let everybody jump on. Good afternoon. Once you come into the Zoom room, if you don't mind, just mute yourself. And we're expecting a lot of people tonight, and we're excited about coaching. I just got to let everybody in to the room. So once we get started here, I'll say an introduction in just a few minutes, and then we'll get started. I love having them cameras on. I'd love to see those pretty faces. Ain't nothing like coaching people when you can see their faces, Deborah. You know what I'm talking about? And if you coach people for a living like I do every day all over the world, it is really valuable to be able to interact and exchange with people. So thank you. If you can, if you're in a position where I could see your face, then that would be very, very helpful for me. And what I'm going to do also is just going to let some folks in tonight. I hope you're off to a great start. You're having a great evening. We had over almost 300 people register for it tonight over the next 3 nights. So we got a great group. We're going to have a great night. We're excited about coaching you and working with you tonight. Thank you for being with us on a weeknight. And my hope is you're going to get a lot of value out of this. And I feel like, Eric, there's going to be some reactivation. There's going to be some awakening to potential. There's going to be some persistence to potential. There's going to be some intensity toward your potential. So I'm really, really excited about teaching this content. Okay. For all the people who show up every night and stay, we're going to send you the replays. One of the things I said this time is I'm not sending out replays to people who don't show up and participate. I just don't think it's fair. I know some people got family obligation, things like that, but I have a family myself. So if I'm taking time away from them to come teach, then it's only fair that you could take time to show up, right, Jerry? Okay. If we're going to be committed, folks, we're going to be committed. We're not going to dabble. We're going to decide. We're going to make a decision. We're going to back that decision up with a commitment, and we're going to get this party started. Okay, we're going to see a lot of people in here tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make Joel Eisler a co-host. Joel, that'll allow you to admit people in. When you see people that want to join up at the top, you can admit them into the thing by admitting all. Okay, I'm also going to make, let's see if I could see some of our other team members on here. Steve Floyd, I'll make you a co-host. All right, and then Jana Creel, if I could find you somewhere on here, I'm going to make you a co-host so that you guys can help monitor, since we have so many people who are joining us. If you see somebody who's trying to get in to the meeting, just admit them into the meeting as we get started tonight, because I'm going to start teaching and it's hard for me to. Good to see Aaron Gatlin. It's hard for me to let people in and do the teaching at the same time. Okay. So as people start to join, then just allow them into the workshop for tonight. Okay. And now I'm going to start tonight with, why am I doing this? Number one, why am I doing this 3-night series on Activate? Guys, I coach thousands of people a month. And when I say thousands, it's like literally probably 2,000 to 3,000 people a month with all the companies that I coach, with all of the people I come across, the events that I do around the country. And if you said to me, what's one thing that most people need, it is the reactivation of the prey drive. Nothing happens until the prey drive is activated, right, Sterling Stokes? And this prey drive, if you listen in, I've got Steve Floyd from my sales team on here. If you said, can I listen into your phone calls during the day, I guarantee you would hear the same thing over and over and over. I want to do it. I got goals that I want to do. I'm thinking about getting better. Like one of these days, I want to get in there with Coach Burt. And really what we're trying to do, guys, is we're trying to get you out of thinking about things and into doing things. Eric, I was speaking in Chicago once, and I laid it on for an hour or full day, 8 hours. This woman come up to me then, she said, Coach, this was so good. Oh my gosh. She said, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my house, and I'm going to think about getting better. And I said, what? I said, I just coach for 8 hours, and the best you're going to do is go back and think about it. You're going to think about getting better. We have to move from mental creation into physical action. Okay. And you can think about it all day long. People say, oh, I need to pray about it. Folks, the good Lord gave us the trees, but he don't make the desk. You understand what I'm saying? Like he gave us the trees. It's up to us to make the desk. Okay. So what we're going to try to do tonight is we're going to really get in. We're really going to get into the activation. So I'm going to spend 3 nights, every night at 7 p.m. And I am going to break into awakening tonight. How do you awaken to your potential? Okay, because something has to activate this drive inside of you. And I'm going to show you, after 33 years of coaching people, exactly what activates the prey drive. Okay, so tonight we're going to get into the awakening. How do you awaken to your real potential? And you're going to find out that the enemy of your potential is complacency. And you're going to find out that one of the definitions of complacency is an unknowing, an unawareness, if that's even a word. It's a lack of awareness that you have even allowed yourself to get into a complacent position in life. And this is actually a danger to your future, because an opportunity is going to come along that you ain't ready for because you got complacent. Partnership's going to come along that you're not equipped for because of the complacency. You're going to find out that you're not attracting opportunity in your life like you're capable of because of the complacency. So the enemy of a great life is a good life, and the enemy of the potential is a complacency. And I believe we're in a complacent nation. So don't be surprised if I don't write a book about this called The Complacent Nation. I was doing an interview today with Gogo Bethke. Gogo Bethke came from Romania, I think. Either Russia or Romania. And she said, when I lived in another country, they told me what to eat. They told me what to wear. They told me what to do. She said, when I come to America, this is why I never become complacent, Coach Burt, because there is so much freaking opportunity here. And she said, that's not what I came from. I came from a country that told me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It's totally different in America. And you would think we wake up in America and think, man, there ain't no opportunity. We're in a bad recession. The economy's softening. Nobody, folks, come on, man. Come on. It's only like that if you believe it's like that. I'm in downtown Nashville. Come to downtown Nashville on a Friday night when people are spending $1,000 at Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, folks. Tell me we're in a recession. They're spending $500 at Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse. Come on. This is a belief that you have. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into tonight the awakening. Then tomorrow night we're going to get into the persistence. How do you build structures to build a persistence with your prey drive? And then we'll finish up on Thursday night. All 3 nights will be at 7 o'clock. I'll go about 35 or 40 minutes. Then I'll take some questions at the end. And on Thursday night, we'll get into the intensity of prey drive. And intensity is an action. Intensity is a movement. Intensity is a movement toward a target. Okay. And some people have intensity and some people don't. Pace and intensity is what separates a lot of people in the world. Okay. So here's what we're going to get into tonight. I'm going to show you the pain. I'm going to show you the problem. I'm going to show you the solution. Okay, I'm going to show you the pain. I'm going to show you the problem and the solution. My mentor was Stephen Covey. Covey wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He wrote Principle-Centered Leadership. He wrote First Things First, and he would start every book off with the pain. Then he would move to the problem, and then he would finish with the solution. The pain, the problem, and the solution. If you're ever selling anything, this is a great way to sell. Know what the pain is with people so you can make the noise go away in their life. Show them what their real problems are, and then show them a solution to these problems. Everybody's got pain. Everybody has problems. Everybody's looking for solutions. It's a real simple model, but he started every book off like this. So when I sit down and do the notes for tonight, I go, what is the pain that most people are experiencing? And I started to go, well, the pain is a tension. And the tension is between where you are and where you are capable of going. Okay. And this is not a bad thing. This is actually a good thing. The frustration is a misguided enthusiasm. That's all frustration is. It's misguided enthusiasm. It's something that wants to come out. You don't know how to get it out. So you're frustrated. But the frustration is actually what will cause the action. And you're going to find out that the action for you tonight is two things: exposure to bigger think and environments that can activate the prey drive. That's going to be the two solutions tonight. I got to get in an environment that would activate and reactivate my drive, and I got to get exposed to people playing at a higher frequency. Okay, I got to get exposed to people playing at a higher frequency. Okay, so the pain is a tension that you feel, and it's like I'm here, and I'm a level 10 person, but I'm playing at a level 4 level. And a lot of people think when I say that I'm talking about an income level, and I could be. You could be a level 10 money earner, but you're making level 4 money. Or you could be a level 10 person and you're playing below the line, man. And that is a tension in your life and you feel stuck. And I believe as humans, we were hardwired to make progress. I think we are most miserable when we are not progressing towards something. Okay? And I think this goes against how you were hardwired. You were hardwired to pursue. You were hardwired to move. Just look at babies. Just look at little kids, how they move and circulate and how they're curious and how they're interested, right? And my daughter's 20 months old. She's learned the word no. Okay, now that's a liberating word for those little monsters, isn't it? When they learn no, you ask them to do something. No. Let's go do this. No. I'm interested in this. No. Come on, it's time to go to bed. No. Like when they learn the word no, it's like they're liberated. It's like, man, it's like, I don't have to do this, right? Then you got to try to sell them on doing it. But they learn no around 18 to 20 months old. And man, they use that word every other thing. No, I don't want to. No, daddy, I don't want to. No. So it's like, okay. So at this point, it's like, all right, how do you convince them this is good? This is good for them to take an action, but they're curious. They're interested. Now, when did you lose that curiosity? When did you lose the hunger to go looking for an answer? When did you lose the hunger to pick up the phone and keep calling until you made a deal? When did you lose the prey drive to follow up and see something through to its conclusion? When did you lose that? Because when I was looking back on my life tonight and I was actually doing this, I remember when I was 25 years old, I flew to Boston, Massachusetts to meet Stephen Covey. I had so little money that I rented a room in a nursing home. Okay, they had unused beds, Sean Hardy. They had unused rooms in a nursing home, and I rented one of those rooms because that's all I could afford. Okay? That's how bad I wanted to meet Covey. I went to Boston by myself. I'd never been to a big city. I was scared to even walk out of my hotel room. That's how bad I wanted to meet my mentor. That's how broke I was. Mentally, emotionally, physically. But that's how hungry I was to get in a room with somebody who could freaking change my life. Okay? And some of you, I watch you and you lost that hunger. You had that hunger and you lost it. Or you've never even had it. It's never even been activated in you. And I'm sitting there going, this dude ain't hungry. Because he's been in my coaching sessions for the last 3 years and he ain't done anything different. He's been doing the exact same thing for 3 years. He shows up, he says amen, he tells me it's a good coaching job, and then he absolutely goes out there and does absolutely nothing. And he's still at the same position. Now, Les Walden, you tell me how hungry that is when they get up and do the same thing over and over and over for years. Right? It ain't hunger, because if you were hungry enough, you would go looking for an answer. Am I right or wrong? Sterling, can I get an amen or an amen? Okay? Because when I'm hungry, I go looking, folks, and I don't stop until I find it. I don't stop until I get in a room. I don't care if I got to borrow the money. I don't care if I got to go sell something. I live out of my surplus or my sacrifice before I live out of my surplus. So when you think about it, the problem is you're a level 10 person. You're stuck playing at a level 4. You're underperforming. You're underperforming based on what you do, and you're frustrated. And what that's happening is that frustration is creating a friction in your life. And at one time you were a champion. At one time you had a prey drive. At one time you pursued it. At one time you didn't stop after one phone call. You went 7 touches to 15 touches. At one time you didn't allow yourself to be complacent. At one time in life you had it. And you remember when you had it, right? And I want you to go back to that time. And my guess is you had a coach in your life. You had a trainer in your life. You had somebody pushing you in your life. You had somebody right there with you go, come on, let's do this. Like we're staying, right? We're doing this, okay? So that is the pain. This is the problem. All right, now let's move to the problem. The problem is complacency. The problem is you lack the courage. And the problem is you lack the connection. So I put these in 3 C's. There's a complacency. And for years, I have said complacency is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. Okay. Now, mediocre means to go halfway up the mountain. That's what mediocre means. I'm going to settle. Listen to this, Rod Williams. I'm going to settle to go halfway up the mountain. I got talent. I got an engine. I got a skill set. Right. But I'm going to settle to go halfway up the mountain. Imagine back when I was coaching Van Grafton as a basketball coach, and I went to my boss who hired me at 22 years old. And I said, you know what? I'm only going to try to win 50% of my games. Joe Eisler, you think I would have got the job by telling him I was going to try to win 50% of my games? Here's what I said. You name me head coach, and I ain't stopping until I win a championship at this place. And he goes, you got the job because you're the only person who said that. Out of all the interviews I've done, you're the only one who said that. What if I'd have went there and said, you know what? We've never won a championship here. We're only going to try to win about 60% of our games. Okay. We're going to settle. If we've been mediocre, we're going to settle for mediocrity. Okay. So, but I found a definition of complacency this past Sunday when I was doing some studying that said an unawareness that you have satisfied. An unawareness that you have satisfied to a place that is actually dangerous to your future. And I go, now that is the definition of complacency. How many of you agree that's a good definition? Okay. It's like you've lulled yourself into going, I'm good, man. Hey, I'm good. I don't need anything. I don't need to be in a room with other great people. I don't need to go to a conference. I don't need to be coached by a guy like Coach Burt. Like, I'm good. I don't need anything. Right. And I started going, we've all been there at some point. We've all bought our own hype. We've all believed that we're good enough. We've all stopped growing at some point. We've all allowed ourselves to become complacent in an area of our life, body, mind, heart, or spirit, all of us. Okay. I went to a church for 7 years, sat at the top. I was there, but I wasn't there. I was totally complacent in my faith. I check it off a box that I went to church on a Sunday morning. I could tell people, yeah, I was going to church, but let me tell you where I was not at. I was not at church. Everybody see that? I could say I'm going. I could say I was a Christian. I could say all those things, but I wasn't there. Okay. That is complacent. I'm checking a box. I'm going through a motion. I'm marking it off as I went. And I did that for 8 years, guys, 8 freaking years. Okay. And I'm like, this is unacceptable, man. I need to come alive. I need to get back in my faith. I need to recommit to this. I've been there physically, 30 pounds overweight, 6 years ago. I go, man, I need to get in better shape. I've been there financially. I've been in all these places. So I get it when you allow yourself to get to a place that you think, well, there's no danger. There's no threat. And then you remember what takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. Would you agree? What takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. You start going, it all goes to zero at midnight. Man, there comes a time when winter asks what you've been doing all spring and summer. Okay. And I can give you story after story after story of times that I thought I was prepared and I really wasn't prepared. So the complacency is our first problem. And we're going to tackle that tonight because we're going to come alive to our potential. The courage is our second problem. Everybody's waiting on things to be perfect before they get started. And that's never how big time people operate. Okay. The third thing is we need connections. All of the hopes and dreams and goals that we have are going to come through other people. And until you get this, a lot of people say, I hear you say you don't need more money, you need more people. And they don't really even know what I'm talking about. Every dream you've ever had every goal you've ever achieved came through people. It came through other people. Okay. And I just want you to understand that. So our problems are unawareness of complacency, awareness, but we don't have a roadmap, or we don't have the courage, or we don't have the connections. Now, I can't allow you to use the excuse, I don't have a roadmap to do it. Because there's roadmaps out there for everybody, right? People write books, that's a roadmap. People do conferences, that's a roadmap. You can spend time with people if you wanted to get in a room that show you a roadmap, okay? So you could use it as an excuse, like I don't know how to do something, okay? I didn't know how to build a $7 million building, but I'm sitting in it right now. What if I'd have said I need to wait till I know how to build this building? Okay, I would have never had a greatness factory. I can't scale a greatness factory if I don't have one. So I could have been easy for me to say, I don't know how to do this. I just say, who can help me do it? So I need courage, but I don't really need courage. I need commitment. So I want you to replace these words. I want you to quit saying I need courage, because the courage ain't coming. Courage never comes first. The commitment comes first. Then after the commitment, there's going to be periods of disorientation. Guess what will show up? Courage will show up, because you got to have the courage to get from A to B. Then you learn a new capability. Then you have a new confidence. Confidence never comes first, and courage never comes first. So when I'm talking to people on the phone, I was talking to a kid today, and he goes, yeah, coaching sounds great. I really need this. So I know this is the room that I'm supposed to be saying. And Steve Floyd, here's what I say. Man, it sounds like to me you're waiting on the courage to come to make this decision. And I said, I got a little secret for you. Courage ain't coming. The courage ain't never going to come first. You commit to this. You get in a room with me and other big time players. You're going to learn a new capability. You're going to have a new confidence. Because he kept telling me, I got to wait. I got to do these two things. And this has got to happen before I get. Oh, I know I'm supposed to be in the room with you, coach. I know I need to be coached by you. But these things have to happen before I do it. Nothing has to happen for you to take an action. Nothing. Nothing has to happen for you to take an action on anything. Okay? So that's two. And number three, we can't get any traction. We got a lack of traction and movement. Do you know how many years I see people stay stuck? Do you know how many years I see people stay stuck at the same income level, same emotional level, same problem level? As a coach, I've been doing this 33 years. I was telling Mike White tonight, 33 years I've been doing this. Do you know how many people I've seen stay the exact same place for 10 years and complain about it? And it's like, I really feel like part of my calling in life is to help expose people to how to activate their drive so they don't have to stay there. They don't have to stay there, man. They don't have to stay where they're at. They can get better. Okay, now what is the solution to these problems? Okay, and the solution to these problems really is the prey drive comes alive. The activation of the prey drive, which is your instinct to pursue. I wrote about this in the book, Flip the Switch. I did an audible on this called Prey Drive, where I read it myself. And it's like, this is the psychology of activating a drive inside of you, okay? And until this drive is activated, nothing happens. There is no movement. There is no change. There is no improvement until this drive is activated, guys, okay? And so this is our first goal, is how do we activate this drive? So we awaken to our potential. And I looked up the word awaken tonight. And it really means to come to life of something, to be awoken from a sleep, right? To awaken a feeling in a person means to cause them to start to have some kind of feeling. It's like, you have awakened me to my talent. You have awakened me to my potential. This is really the solution. We need to awaken to our potential. And potential is an idea of kinetic energy that is stored until activated. Potential is an idea. It is sitting there as an idea of kinetic energy that is stored until it is activated by something. Now, here's the sad part. Many times we have to have a thunderbolt, which is a sudden and unexpected jolt of energy to wake us up to our potential. And for so many people, it is a thunderbolt of pain. Something negative has to happen in somebody's life for them to wake up. and go, I am now interested in my potential. Does everybody see that? And that is the sad part to me, when potential is an idea of kinetic energy that is stored until activated. So I feel like part of my purpose and my calling is to help activate this drive inside of you and to eliminate this frustration in underperforming people and to instill a remarkable boldness into people. If we study the habits of the top 1% of performers in the world, and you said I could only give my daughters one of these habits, what habit would I give them? Would I give them remarkable boldness, which is a habit of Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, people that do great things, remarkable boldness, not confidence. Confidence is a memory of success. Insecurity without confidence. Confidence, memory of success. Okay. If I could give my kids only one thing, what would I give them? Would it be remarkable boldness? Would it be intrinsic motivation, which is a deep drive to do something in the world, something big, something that matters? It's like I got a chip on my shoulder. I got something to prove. Okay. Would I give them intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic? Would I give them grit and resilience? Would I give them my connection skills? Or would I give them the ability to lock in and see something through to its conclusion? These are the top 5 habits of the top 1% of performers. And if you want to be a 1% performer, you need to acquire these attributes, these habits. Okay. So none of this happens until it's like, I'm interested, man. I'm interested. I'm willing to go to Boston, stay at a nursing home. I'm willing to go get in the presence of somebody who's great, to learn and study to reactivate my prey drive. This is what I'm willing to do. Exposure and environments. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. I want to get in. I want to be exposed to somebody who's great. And I want to be in an environment. Okay. So instead of waiting on something negative to happen in life and then having an awakening, a thunderbolt, why not seek a thunderbolt out? Okay. Now I was with 2 CEOs last week, one of let's say a $25 to $30 million company. And then I would turn around coaching a CEO of a $13 million company who's trying to get to 26. And I kept using the same word. Guys, what we need here is a thunderbolt. What we need is a thunderbolt. What we need is a sudden, unexpected jolt of energy. So we could wait on it. We could be sitting here having the same conversation a year from today, or we could create this thunderbolt. And the thunderbolt is either going to be in sales, or marketing, or lead generation, or engagement, or becoming known in the world, or it's a key partner that we need. It's like an integrator. I'm looking for my integrator who can take my ideas and blow them up, but we need a thunderbolt. And that is a sudden, unexpected jolt of energy. So we could wait on it to happen. And I could come back 6 months from today, we'd still be at the exact same point. We'd be at the exact same revenue. We'd be at the exact same problems. There's no progress toward where we're trying to get to. We'll be talking about the same issues, or we could create this thunderbolt. I want you to think right now, what is your thunderbolt? What is your personal thunderbolt? Okay. Many years ago, when I was struggling with my faith, the guy sent me a book called The Blessed Life by Robert Morris. And I read that book. Boom. Sterling is thunderbolt. That book awakened me to my faith. I don't know what it was. I think it was the timing of when he sent it to me. And I'm like, boom. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And this guy sent it to me in the mail one day. And it woke me up. It's like I needed this thunderbolt. I'm looking for this thunderbolt. And it's like this dude like gave it to me. So for some of you, the thunderbolt, instead of waiting on it to happen to you, we need to go looking for it. We need to go searching it out. We need to go and create it. Now I put in my notes that we need a thunderbolt in sales. Many people right now need a thunderbolt in sales. Maybe the way you've been doing it is a very easy excuse to use. The market's softening. I bet I heard that 100 times in the last 2 weeks. Is it harder for you to sell coaching today than it was a year ago? I was signing the biggest contracts of my life right in the middle of the recession of 08 and 09. There were 2 types of people. People said, I can't afford coaching. And people said, I can't afford not to have coaching. Did everybody see that? And with 8 billion people, there is no shortage. There's no shortage of money. There is a shortage of courage. There's a shortage of action. There's a shortage, right? So if you can't get to your financial goals by doing it the way you've been doing it, it's called a strategic pivot. It's called I need to diversify my portfolio. It's called I need a thunderbolt to switch it up and mix it up a little bit. I don't just keep doing the same thing, which is what so many people do. Okay. So you may be looking for an integrator. It's like, man, I got ideas, but I can't get any traction in the ideas. Now, some of you use the EOS system. It was a great book by Gino Wickman called the EOS, called Traction. Incredible book. But that book does not tackle sales. Everybody understand this? I coach a lot of companies and they'll tell me, well, I'm using the EOS system. I said, man, it's great. EOS is a great operating system, but it does not focus on top line revenue. It doesn't teach a selling system. It doesn't teach how to go out and generate more customers. It teaches you how to operate something. And I think it's great. But sometimes it's like, man, I don't have a sales system. I don't have a new way to generate customers. I need two more strategies. As a basketball coach, if my strategies weren't working, I just kept going until I found a strategy that worked. So how do you awaken to your potential? How do you even become aware of the potential that you have, right? And so the word awaken means to awaken a feeling, to cause you to start thinking about a bigger future. It's like you're going along life and you're in a slumber. Do you know that one of the regrets of the dying is that they lived their entire life for other people? They never really did what they wanted to do. They never really became what they wanted to become. Just Bronnie Ware wrote about that in the 5 Regrets of the Dying. One of the regrets was I lived my whole life for other people. I never did what I wanted to do. I never pursued goals that I had. I never, right? Like what I'm trying to tell you is at some point, you have these dreams and you have these goals. And you know, when I get mine, Les Walden, Les is one of my closest friends. I was working with him back during the period. I get mine late at night. And I'll sit down and I'll literally, like right last night, I don't know what time it was, 10:34. I sat down and I made a whole list of what I really wanted to do. Joe Leisler, you watching this? This is what I really want to do with my life. Jerry, you can't see what I wrote on here, but one of them said exits. Exits. These are businesses that I could build that could be sold. These are things I really want to do with my life. These are goals I really have. These are concepts that I want to move forward with. Eric, you follow me? These are things that in my quietest moments, and it's just me talking to me. This is what I really want to do. And then you wake up the next day, and guess what happens, Dr. B? You go right back to doing what you did the day before. And I call that keeping the trains running. You got to sell something. Chase, you follow me here? You got to sell something. You got to hit your sales numbers. You got to call and collect money from people who ain't paying. You got to do this. And these dreams, Sterling, they come back up at night when it's just you talking to you. It's like, this is what I really want to do right here. I don't want to spend the day calling and collecting money from people. I don't want to spend the day in trivial conversations. I don't want to spend the day in some kind of ridiculous drama. This is, I could be awake and alive to this. Now, this is big. This is exciting. This is where the big opportunities are. But life knocks the shout out of you so many times that you go, nah, that's for somebody else. It ain't for me. I'll never get to go do those things. Right? Some people say out of all the books I've ever written, that their favorite book was a book I wrote called This Ain't No Practice Life. I don't even know if we sell them today. It was my 4th book, and I was a basketball coach, Johnny Stamper, and it was me going, this ain't freaking a practice life. You get one human life. That's it. And it was what they call my seminal work. It was back in the very beginning of me starting this business 20 years ago. And I'm like, man, it's like, these are decisions you got to make to play at the big level. This ain't no practice life. And in Tennessee, you can use double negatives, folks. I don't know if you can in California, but you can use double negatives in Tennessee. This ain't no. Okay. So when you think about it, and if you don't like it, you go write 20 books like I have, then complain about it. Then you can tell me what to say on a book. Now, here's my point. There's 3 phases of your drive that's got to be activated. Number one, the prey drive must be activated. Let's use another word tonight, Colby. Let's use a word called awakened. The prey drive has to be awakened. At 18 years old, Jason Dixon, I was sitting at a free coaching clinic with a guy named Don Meyer at the great David Lipscomb, and I had never seen a team practice like this. It was like it wasn't even humans. It was like robots, the way they practice, how hard they went. And I'm sitting up there as an 18-year-old basketball coach, and I go, that's what I want to do with my team. Everybody took notes. Everybody ran the plays perfect. Everybody communicated. Everybody took the trash out when it was over. I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to be as good as that dude. And what it did is it awakened me to using sports as a way to teach life. I'm like, I just don't want to win basketball games. I want to teach people how to win through sports. And I was awakened to a dream. And then he said, if you don't read another book this year, go pick up a copy of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I had never read a self-help book, Jerry. I had never been to a library. In my little town of Woodbury, Tennessee, they didn't teach self-help, folks. And I went straight to the bookstore and I bought the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I read it and I didn't understand it. And I read it again and I didn't understand it. And I read it again because it's a very hard book to read, especially at 18. And I kept reading it and I kept reading it. And after I read that book, I go, I want to be like this dude. One day I want to impact millions of people like this dude. I want to become the modern day Covey. Now, let me tell you what happened. I was awakened to my potential. Can everybody go back to a time in life when they were awakened to their potential? They were around somebody. They were in a room. We've got Dave, I think Dave's on here. Dave from Tullahoma, Tennessee. He came, there he is, Dave Nolt. He came to one of my boot camps. He said, I've never even been to anything like this before. I've never even been in a room with people who talk like this. I've never been in a room with people who are this involved in self-development. I've never even been around something like this. We have it happen every day at the Greatness Factory. People come here and they go, man, I've never even seen something like this. I've never been around energy, people like this. Like, this is a game changer. So number one, the prey drive must be awakened. And it could happen by default, meaning somewhere in life you meet somebody, you're exposed to something. It could happen. But many times it only happens if you go looking for it. It only happens when you go, I got to get in a room with somebody who can show me how to do this. So as a young basketball coach, it was Don Meyer for me. And Don Meyer awakened me to what coaching really could be. And that was teaching. It was a distribution channel for talents. Coaching was a distribution channel for talent. So number one, there must be an awakening. Number two, there must be a persistence to this awakening. Okay. Now, Chase, do you know how many people come to me and say they want to coach and do what I do for a living? You want to guess? And I was telling Mike White tonight. Mike White's my operation manager here. Incredible dude. And I just really love him because he shows up every day and he's committed. And I get so many compliments on him. And I was telling him, a lot of people want to do what I do for a living. And they tell me, I want to do what you do for a living. Now, they're not missing the ideas. They got ideas. They may even have books. Guess what they don't have? What do they not have, Chase? You can unmute yourself. What do you think they don't have?
Commitment.
That's right. They don't have prey drive to see it through to its conclusion. They don't have the prey drive to write 18 books till they figure out how to write a Wall Street Journal bestseller. They don't have the commitment to get on the phone and call people every day and try to sell their coaching packages. They don't have the commitment to follow up. What they are lacking is the persistence of the prey drive. So you can watch me tonight and go, I'm motivated. That little bald-headed dude, boom, punch me right in the face. I'm ready to go do something. Will you do it tomorrow when I'm not with you? Will you do it after this 3-night series is over? Will you do it when I'm not watching? Will you do it when nobody's calling to check on you? Like, will you do it like a pro who shows up every day and does it? Right? For 13 straight days leading up to this, I did a video every day on social media. Most days I didn't feel like doing it. I did it on Saturday. I did it on Sunday. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. Everybody see that? So one of the things you got to say to yourself is, man, I'm a pro. So number 2 is the persistence of the prey drive. And number 3 is the intensity of the prey drive. Intensity. Can you go at it for a long cycle of time? And can't. This is why I have daily goals. I don't like weekly goals. I don't like yearly goals. I like daily goals. And every day I wake up, I'm trying to sell 41,667.67 of coaching every day, every single day. Okay. Every day. Right. And so when you think about it, it's like a lot of people do not have that intensity. Okay. So for you, let's look at the activators of prey drive, and then I'm going to focus in on 2. Okay. I'm going to focus on 3 tonight. Exposure is an activator of prey drive. If we're trying to get reactivated, the number 1 way. How many of you, by raise of hands, when you're around big time people doing big time things, you're more motivated? You're activated. Okay. So when was the last time you got around big time people doing big things? When's the last time you drove somewhere to get around people doing big things? When's the last time you went to a conference and got around people doing big things? When's the last time you, right? Like if exposure is an activator of your prey drive, you got to get out of your little bubble and you got to go get around people who are doing bigger things. Okay. When I built the Greatness Factory, $7 million project, to me, that's a lot of money. But the dude who built the 505, where the Greatness Factory is inside, he went out and raised $250 million to build this. See where I'm going? Like, I want to learn from that dude. How does he negotiate? How did he get Nick Saban to be one of his investors? How did he get Michael Dale? How did he get some of the top people in the world to invest with him? So I say one night, this is my end, Rod Williams. After I bought this place, I bought it for $3.6 million, and it appraised at $7.3 million. And I put $3 million into the build out. One night I said, man, let's go celebrate. And I thought for $3.6 million, they'd give me dinner with him. When's the last time y'all paid $3.6 million to get a dinner with somebody? Okay. So I paid $3.6 million and I go, we should go celebrate. He said, I would love to go celebrate this, coach. And so we go and we spend 2.5 hours at Jeff Ruby's, and man, I'm just peppering him with questions. Tell me how you raised $250 million. Tell me how you do that. Tell me how you got into this business. Tell me what your next project is. So I'm asking him, how do you raise the capital? How do you raise $250 million to do something this big? This dude is probably worth, I don't know, $500 million or more. As soon as I asked him this question, guess what he did? 6:30 at night, we're having dinner. He said, Coach, let me make a quick phone call. Calls his assistant. He said, I'm here having dinner with Coach Burt, and he is really interested in how I raise capital. Can you bring over a pitch deck for me to go through with him? He used the opportunity to pitch me to invest with him. Now, tell me that ain't prey drive. As soon as he saw an opening with me, and I left there that night, and I said, you know, I didn't go to dinner thinking I was going to give this guy $250,000. So I told my wife, I didn't go thinking I was going to give him $250,000. I thought we were going to go have a dinner. But I left thinking if I was going to give somebody $250,000, it would be him. Does everybody see that? Okay. That is prey drive. That is activation. Even at his age, 63 years old, still doing deals, still hustling. Do you know that I inquired about this property on a Saturday at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon? Within less than 6 minutes, he personally emailed me back. The developer, not a sales agent. Coach Burt, I got exactly what you've been looking for. Would you like to come see it this afternoon? On a Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, the developer who's worth who knows how much money, half of $500 million. He personally reached out to me and said, would you like to see it this afternoon? That is prey drive, folks. So when you think about it, exposure is an activator of your drive. So we got to get you in a room. We got to get you in a room with people who are exposed. Okay. So exposure in my life was me meeting Covey. Exposure in my life was me spending 3 or 4 years with Cardone around him. Exposure in my life was going to strategic coach for 3 years from 35 to 38. Exposure in my life was studying under some of the best people in the world. And I paid for that. Exposure was getting access to people who could show me how to do something. And every time I was around those people, I'm like, man, I'm playing too small. I'm playing too small. And it activated my drive. Okay. So number one is exposure. Number two is environment. Environment is an activator of prey drive. Okay. And environment is a place where there's expectation. Now, I grew up as a child. I grew up in a small town. I was raised by a single mom. We weren't poor. I don't like to say we're poor because it hurts my mom's feelings. But if you went back and looked at the house we first lived in, the living room and the bedroom and the kitchen were all the same room. The living room and the bedroom and the kitchen were all the same room. I took my kids back and showed them. I said, this is where your dad grew up. They couldn't believe it. My daughter, she's like, there's no way, Dad, you lived in that house. And I'm like, this is the house we lived in. We never went on vacation anywhere. And when we did, we went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We stayed at the same Best Western because they had an indoor swimming pool. This is the only place I ever went. Okay. That's why I get all freaked out when I see Best Westerns today. All right. Because this is the only place I went as a kid. Now, I don't tell you that for you to feel sorry for me. I tell you that because I wasn't in any environments where there was movement. I didn't go to LA or Miami or Chicago or New York City. And when I started traveling the world and getting involved and seeing the world, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much opportunity. We can't even get to all of it. How many of you feel like that every day when you wake up? There is no shortage. There is no shortage of anything. It's everywhere. It's infinite. You could go to the ocean and get a teaspoon or get a 20-gallon bucket, and the ocean don't care. It's literally everywhere. Okay. So for you, environment is, I need to be around people who are remarkably bold. I need to work in an environment. Like last couple of days I've been working, I'm like, this is such a great environment to work in. It's like I feel activated. I change rooms. I'm in the money lab right now. I'm in my office. I'm in the podcast studio. I go over and work in the theater. I get in the Dream Fountain. I'm like, this is like a Candyland. It's like, this is the coolest place in the world, because every day I'm reactivated because of the environment. The music's going. I can step outside and there's energy. So environment is placing yourself in places where there's expectation. You can create this with your team. It's getting out of your little comfortable bubble. It's getting out of, like, I live here. I go to the same restaurant. I eat the same food. I go to the same places. We do the same thing every night. It's movement, circulation. That is environment. Now, let me give you the third one, fear. I'm not going to spend much time on that tonight. Number 4, competition. And number 5, embarrassment. So if I were unpacking 3 of these, I would unpack exposure. That awakens me to my potential. Exposure. Number 2, environment. Some of you need a strategic pivot. What you're doing ain't working. The way you're working ain't working. What you're doing ain't working. You've been doing it. You keep doing it. You complain about it, but you need a pivot. And I don't know what that pivot is, but it's like at night when you're just with yourself, go, okay, where do I need to go where the opportunity is? Where is the opportunity right now? What skill do I have and what problem do I want to solve? And where is the opportunity that I need to pivot toward? Does everybody see that? And you got to pivot toward that opportunity. Okay? You got to pivot toward that opportunity. That's why you do the A to B exercise every day. It's like, I'm getting clear in what my B is. Okay? Number 3 is embarrassment. And embarrassment is, you are embarrassed by where you are playing in relationship to where you could be playing. You have to tell yourself, I'm tired of playing small. I'm tired of not having any money. I'm tired of underperformance. I'm tired of unpredictable cash flow. I'm tired of being in this, as Kiyosaki said, the rat race of life. I'm looking for predictable monthly cash flow. Okay, I'm looking for a bigger play. Tired of staying here. Okay, and that is embarrassment. Okay, that is embarrassment. So the pain is, I am at this plateau and I can't figure out, right? I can't figure out how to get to this next place. I remember at the end of the year, when I was doing an accounting call today with my accountant, and I was just measuring where I was this year versus where I was last year. And I remember at the end of 1 year, she came to me and she said, well, good news, you made $400,000 more this year than last year. And I was furious. I said, is that it? I worked that hard. I went on the road 200 times just to make $400,000 more dollars. Like, you come back to me when we can figure out how to make $4 million more dollars, not 400,000. Like it's embarrassing. See, it's not embarrassing as like you're ungrateful. It's embarrassing like we are so much more skilled than what we're doing here. Everybody see that? How many of y'all have ever felt like that before? I'm so much more skilled than what I'm showing. So to you, the embarrassment is my skill level is at a higher frequency than what I'm, and it's because I can't quite figure out this fundamental relationship between what I have and who wants it. So I have a packaging problem or a marketing problem. And how many of you went through 15 different marketers to generate leads? And it's like, you can't figure out how to freaking put this thing together. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to go, I'm at A, and A is not bad. I'm grateful for A, but I'd really like to get to B. And B is my ideal picture. And if I woke up tomorrow and life was as close to perfect as it could be, what would that look like for you? Okay. Now, if you looked at my B goals, when I do the exercise A to B, I wrote about this in the book A to B, you would see how clear I am in what I want the business to do, and what I want my life to do. Okay. And every day I wake up, I am moving toward that goal with a persistence and an intensity. Now, you're going to achieve the B goal. You're going to wake up one day. I remember what 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, when a guy called me and said, man, we just crossed over $1 million. And less than 4% of small businesses will ever generate $1 million of income. Less than 4%. And I remember being in a gym in Florida working out. And I said, okay. I said, it's good, man. Let's figure out how we can get to 2 million. He said, that's it? That's like, that's a celebration? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go back to working out because that ain't even close to where we need to be, right? It's good that we just crossed that over, but so what, man? We're trying to get to this number. So you're at A and you're trying to get to B. If you never have this activation of this prey drive through exposure, through embarrassment, through environment, then you never move to B. You never move to B. This is why I asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how sick of you, how sick are you playing at the same level you're at right now? See, when I get on the phone with a person, this is what I say on a scale of 1 to 10. How serious are you about leaving your amateur desires behind and going pro? And if it's not a 7, 8, 9, you ain't ready for this, man. You ain't ready for this. Just keep complaining, keep whining, keep making excuses, stay exactly where you are. Call me back when you are actually ready to perform at a higher frequency. Everybody see that? Now, here's the things we got to do tonight. And I'll take some questions after I do this. We want to become aware of any area of our life where we've gone complacent. And I look at it like this: body, physical; mind, mental; heart, emotional; spirit, spiritual. I use an example tonight of me going complacent in my faith for 7 years until I awakened to my potential. And it was because somebody sent me that book, A Blessed Life. So read this book, right? And then there was times in my life I was complacent to my physical potential. Then there's times in my life I was complacent to my emotional potential. Then there's times in my life I was complacent in, maybe my intellect potential, where you just get lazy, man. You just don't prepare like you used to. You just don't do the things that made you great. You get away from doing things that made you great. I used to prospect. I used to follow up. I used to get on the phone with people, right? Les Brown always said, used to be's and wannabes don't make any honey. Used to be's and wannabes don't make any honey, okay? It's like I practice what I preach. I tell people I follow up, I follow up. I tell people I prospect, I prospect. I tell people I show up every day and prepare, I show up and prepare, right? This is part of this, boom, boom, consistency, persistence, and intensity, okay? So I'm going to go from unawareness of my complacency to I am now awakened to my complacency. Now I am not tolerating. I am no longer tolerating my complacency. Okay. And I am making a decision. That means to kill something off to go pro. What does pro mean to you? I always like to say, making $1 million a year, you're starting to get there as a pro. Okay. You're starting to get there as a pro. 250,000, you ain't there. 500,000, you ain't there. You start making $1 million a year personally. Now you're starting to become pro. Okay. Now you're getting to a pro level. You're not there anywhere else. I hear people all that. Like I had an insurance dude tell me once, Chase, you'll appreciate this. He said, Coach, is there really a difference between, 250,000 and 650,000 a year personal income? I said, that might be the dumbest question anybody's ever asked me. And I've had a lot of dumb questions. I said, there's a 4-time difference, you moron, between 250 and 650, for God's sakes. Like, you know how much more earning power you have at 650,000 versus 250? Well, imagine how much you had at $1 million or 5 million. Like, in his mind, that's what drove me crazy. He'd always tell me how smart he was and how rich he was. And I got so sick of listening to him. Like, man, come on. Like, this is amateur hour, brother. This is amateur hour. Okay. So some of you guys have got to awaken and be like, man, I'm playing in amateur leagues here. I think I'm in the pros, but I'm not in the pros. I'm playing at an amateur level. Okay. And this is where we got to get to. So I go from asleep to now I'm awake. Once I'm awake, who do I need to be in a room with? Who do I need to get around? That's exposure. What environment do I need to be in? Okay. What environment do I need to be in? Okay. And when do I get sick of being embarrassed? Okay. Now, there's 2 things I want you to consider. One is I'm hosting a conference the 26th through the 28th called Activate. If you've never been to Nashville, if you've never been to the Greatness Factory, I've got 109 seats in my theater. We do private parties. We do VIP events. I bring in some of the best speakers in the world. Okay. And what I told my team is I'm doing the first 50 people at 50% off this conference. It's the 26th through the 28th. Okay. The tickets are retail, $5,000 for VIP, general admission, $2,500. For the first 50 people, I'm doing 50% off those prices. Okay. So the VIP is actually $2,500 and the general admission is $1,497, I believe. Okay. So this is an environment. I'm taking 109 people who are serious and want to come to Nashville, spend 2 or 3 days with me. I'm bringing in Renee Rodriguez, one of the top communicators in the world. Trust me, you'll spend more money than that going out to Tootsie's Orchid Lounge after the conference is over, folks. Okay. So, Joel, I want you to post the link to that so people can look at that link. When I get to 50 people, the prices are going back up to $5,000 and $2,500. Okay. So if you're interested in that, I encourage you. I'm only doing this for people on this call and for my personal clients. We're not promoting this to the public. So you wouldn't find anywhere out there a link on my website that says it's 50% off for this Activate. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, some of you need to be in a room with me. You need to be coached by me. You need to have somebody like me in your life and in your corner. And I guarantee you'll play at a higher frequency. So the way you do that is you book a strategy call. Okay. And you book us. So Steve is going to post a link to just book a strategy call. It's completely complimentary. You book a strategy call and you tell Steve, you tell Sebastian on my team, this is what I'm trying to do. Some of you, right? This is what I'm trying to do. And they will work with you to go, okay, this is what you need. You need this 2-day boot camp with Coach Burt. You need this 1-day boot camp with him. You need this retreat. And they'll tailor that to what you need. They're going to ask you a simple question. What are you trying to do? Just like I do. It's like today I was talking to a guy and I went through some things. I said, no, I can't do that. Can't do this. And then I started talking about the couples retreat. And he goes, that's exactly what me and my wife need, is that couples retreat. I'm like, okay, I'm going to send you the link. I can't make you do it. I'm going to send you the link. If you want to do it, if you're serious, take action on it, man, because I'm only taking 15 people at that. So that is the actions for you tonight. Okay. Is number one, book a ticket to Nashville and go through the Activate conference at 50% off. Come and spend 2 or 3 days with me. And I guarantee you that will activate your Pray Drive because the environment and the exposure. Or number two, book a strategy call and go, look, I'm tired of playing at this level. It's embarrassing. I'm ready to go pro. I'm ready to play at a higher frequency. And we have programs that start at $997 for the year, folks. So there is no excuses on the money. Okay. Sometimes you live out of your sacrifice before you live out of your surplus. Okay. That's me going to Boston. Joe, you don't even know that story. Me staying at a nursing home when I went to Boston. You ever book a room at a hotel thinking it's a hotel and you get there and it's a nursing home, folks? Wasn't a lot of action going on there. Okay. So then I was scared to death to walk out the front door in Boston. Never even been to Boston. I was scared somebody's going to rob me. I'm like, man, I don't even know how to get there, where I'm going. So these are the 2 actions tonight, guys. All right. So these are the things you want to do. Now, I'm going to call on a few people tonight. We're going to take a few questions and play pitch and catch. Tonight was about awakening to your potential. How many of you feel more awakened to your potential now than before we started tonight? Okay. Come on. I'm low on confidence, folks. Help me out here. Okay. All right, good. So now the decision is to go pro. Now I want to go back to something. So Les Walden, can you talk tonight? Can you come off mute? Les Walden's #1 real estate agent in South Carolina, one of the top agents on planet Earth. He came to Nashville many years ago. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. I was coaching a guy named John Jones, which is another one of the top agents in the country. And we were sitting there here in Nashville at one of the honky tonks, just catching up. And he said, I'm hiring you to become my coach. This is the first night we ever met. We've never even talked to each other before this. Everybody see that? And I remember, Les, what you told me. You told me I've been selling real estate for X number of years and I'm bored. You said I get up and kick everybody's butt who's dominating that area. And I get up, I go to bed, and I wake up the next day and kick everybody's butt again. And I want you to come to South Carolina, right? And I want you to do this. Can you tell those people you didn't hire me to work with you because you were bad. You were actually the best, but you knew there was another gear. Can you go back to that moment and tell them about that? Because there's a lot of people in here who are good and they think, well, the only reason I hire a coach is because I suck. That ain't true. You hire a coach because you want to go to another frequency. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I coach, you're exactly right. I was in a position where I'd become the word you use, complacent. I was doing the right things every day, but I wasn't giving it everything I had. And only a coach can push you. And we did. We sat around that night. We talked over a band. We were kind of yelling back and forth at each other. And I knew right then that you were the guy that was going to push me over that. Push me through the complacency and push me to be better than I was, because I had nobody where I was at pushing me to do that. And Coach, I'll be honest with you, I still fight that. The biggest decision that I ever made was hiring you for a year, not only to coach me, but come in and coach my team. Yeah. And the biggest jump we ever had was the year we had you doing that. Brought in an outside coach. It'd be like hiring Nick Saban, to come in. He left Alabama and you said, well, I'm at Tennessee. Why don't you come coach Tennessee? You think they'd get any better? They probably would. I mean, I'm just guessing, even though I don't really care for him. I pull for the Tigers. So, but you would have to think that you'd get better, and you did that for me. And that's why I'm on this call tonight, to be honest with you, Coach. Listen, I got Pray Drive sitting right beside me, or flip the switch. So I need to be in the room with people like you, right? To keep me pushing harder, because we can all be complacent if we're successful. Yeah. If you're not, you need the coaching anyway. So that's an easy decision.
Well, thank you for that. And he was a joy to coach. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody read my books faster than him. And he went through about 6 books in a matter of 2 weeks. And then he said, how many more books you got? And I said, that's all I got right now is these 6. So now here's the point. I want you to hear what I'm about to say. Satisfied needs never motivate. Only unsatisfied needs. When I wrote Flip the Switch, I studied every motivational theory on the planet. And there are 20. There's 20 major motivational theories. And Kim Dillard, guess what they all say? We move towards something we want. But what happens when we have everything we want? What happens when we have a good life and making good money and we drive a good car? Guess what that does to prey drive? It suppresses the prey drive. And we don't have a championship to win. We don't have a new game to play. We don't have something to pursue. And what happens is we gradually settle to a place of mediocrity. And mediocre for some of you is still up here. You're 60%. You're 60%. It's still 100% better than most people. Okay? But that you're not comparing yourself to them. You're comparing yourself to you. Everybody see that? Like when I go speak and people come up and say, man, that was great, man. You brought it. I know when I bring it. I don't need somebody to tell me. And I also know when I suck. I know when I'm not on my A game. I know when I'm not prepared. I know when I don't give a good performance. I don't need another person to tell me that. I don't need somebody to come along and say, good speech, man. It's a good speech. I'm like, man, if somebody says good speech to me, I know it didn't work. I want somebody to come up and say, that hit me hard. How do I work with you? That's how I know I hit it. Not good speech. You always joke and say, would you tell Picasso that was a good painting? You don't tell Picasso good painting. You don't tell a great speaker. That's a good speech, man. That's a real good speech. What you tell a great speaker is that moved my life. That opened up my heart. How do I work with you? Okay, that's what you want to hear, guys. So there's a potential, and I don't think we've done enough. I don't think we've spent enough time with potential. They don't teach it in the schools. They don't teach what it is. They don't teach how to activate it. They don't teach how to get in a room with the right people. They don't teach any of these things. So we just go out in life and we try to make it. There'll be more people interested in Broadway tonight than there will be in their potential. There'll be more people interested in going downtown and getting entertained than being educated. And it's typically 10 to 1. Okay. Chase. My insurance, Chase. Okay.
Hey, Coach.
You're trying to get into the coaching business, son. Why is that?
I think mainly I was a college football coach, and that fueled a different part of me that wasn't monetary. So now I feel like from a coaching standpoint, I can do both. I can fulfill the passion side while making money doing it.
Yeah. And do you see why there's 800,000 people in the United States that call themselves a coach, but they don't generate income?
Absolutely.
They don't know how to package. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to monetize. Big missing structure. Right. And that's why I built the coach's locker room, because so many people said, I want to speak and coach and train, but they got to figure out how to make money. And that's a big missing structure for a lot of people. Okay. So I want you to understand, guys, tonight, what we're talking about is it's not that people don't know what they should do, although some people don't know what they should do. It's really people know what to do, but they don't know how to activate the drive to go do it. And they don't have the remarkable boldness they need to pursue it and see it through to its conclusion. So what activates the drive? Exposure, environment, embarrassment. Everybody see that? Straight out of the book, Flip the Switch. I'm embarrassed. I'm going to go get in an environment and get around people, and I'm going to get better. And I'm going to go looking for it. I'm not going to just sit and wait for some thunderbolt to happen in my life. I don't have to go broke. I don't have to run out of gas on the side of the road. I don't have to barely try to make it every day. I'm going to go get in a room with somebody who can help me. Okay? And if you want more remarkable boldness, just get around people who have remarkable boldness. Like be in a room with them, be around them, let them see it. Like see that. Okay. So 2 things tonight, right? And I'll take a few questions here. Strategy call. If you want to do something with me, but you don't know what, do a strategy call. Steve, Sebastian, they'll talk to you. Number 2, get your tickets to Activate. I don't know anything to do other than put on a conference. Okay. People always joke and say this, it's $1,250. And I say, well, I spent $7 million. So we're going to talk about, I spent $7 million to create the space. So are we really going to talk about $1,250 for a ticket? Right? I don't think we need to be having that discussion, right? I remember complaining to Cardone many years ago because I had spent $50,000. Eric, listen to this. After I spoke at 10X, he did not invite any of us back to speak the next year. He invited people who are more famous than us. He wanted famous people. So he didn't invite Tim Grover back. He didn't invite Ed Milet back. He didn't invite Coach Burt back. He didn't invite Tim Story back. So I was determined to figure out how to capitalize on the year that I was there, which was the year before. None of the other speakers would do this, right? I don't know if their pride would let them do it. So I called down to Cardone's office and I'd say, I'd like to get one of those suites. And it was $50,000. And I paid $50,000 to rent a suite at Miami Marlins Stadium. And I said, okay, if you're not going to have me speak on stage, I'm just going to have my own conference up in my suite. And I paid 50 grand. And I put out on social media that I'm having my own conference up in private suites. Come on up here and get coaching. Okay. Anybody want to figure out how much business that I did in that suite off my 50 grand investment? Okay. $250,000 of contracts were closed in that suite during that conference. Cardone called me. He said, out of 34,000 people, you're the smartest dude in the whole place because you actually used my conference to generate $250,000. He couldn't get other people to buy the suites. They were all empty. There's only like 5 suites booked. And I go, no. I'm going to invest 50 grand and I'm going to go generate 250 grand. That is remarkable boldness. Right? That is boldness. But guess who I'm betting on? Me. I'm betting on me. Everybody else went to consume the content. I went and said, I'm going to generate business. I'm going to consume the content, but I'm also going to generate bit. You give me 34,000 people. I'm going to find some deals. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Kim Diller, what's your question?
I wanted to thank you. I saw you in March, known you for over a year, and I'm activating my drive daily. But since I've been with you and your program and stuff, even since March when you came here to Dallas, more than doubled what I did last year.
Nice.
In that short of time.
Good for you. I remember you came, you sat right on the front row. It's the first time I'd ever seen you in person because I see so many people online. And you introduced yourself to me. And I said, I know who you are. I see you every week on my coaching program. So if she got in a coaching program, it was, whatever it was, $97,000 a year, and she doubles her production that period of time, folks, I'd say it's a good investment. Okay. And by the way, when I tell people this, you're not investing in me. You're investing in you. It's called psychological demand. When you pay attention. See, some of you tonight, you're going to book a ticket. You're going to come to the conference. You're going to get online. You're going to book your flight. You're going to get a hotel. That's what you're going to do. You're going to say, I'm tired of playing here. I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to get in a room with this dude. Okay. Because I hear people say that all the time. I want to go meet you. I want to do this. Okay. All right, Aaron, I'll come back to your question in just a second on the traction question. Steve Miller, what you got?
What is the biggest separator you see between people that are winning and people that are mediocre or just complacent? What do you see that really separates?
I don't think most people know. They don't know how to play at a high level because they've never been around high level people. Okay. Say what you want about the guy like Cardone. From 2014 to 2018, when I would be down in his offices, I would see 50 people on the phones, making 150 sales calls a day, training every morning. I'm like, now this, I never seen a sales department like that. I never been in a sales department that was ran like that. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. They're making thousands of phone calls. We're making a couple hundred phone calls. You see where I'm going? I've never seen.
Yeah.
So I think the problem with a lot of people, Steve, is they're out there in their own little planet and they don't know what it looks like to work with a pro because they've never been around and up close and personal with a pro. A lot of people think they work hard till they come work with a guy like me. And I say, we're coming in at 6:30 in the morning and we're still going to be going at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. And they're like, well, that's not how I worked at my last job. Well, you're not in, you're not at, what is it, Oz anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're at a new place. There's new expectation. This is a new environment. We don't play like other people play. But what I'm saying to you, Steve, is I don't think a lot of people know what it means to go pro until they actually work with the pro. And
that was the biggest separator for me. I'd seen you on video. I'd watched some different things that you were doing online, but seeing you actually in person and seeing what you did and how you did that completely changed my approach to everything, because I was not used to that level in any way.
Yeah. See, now your prey drive is activated. You've written a book. You're doing morning videos every morning. This dude sends more videos out than I do. It's like, now I've created a freaking monster here. You know what I'm saying? It's like now the prey drive is activated and now you're on fire. So that's why I tell people it's worth $1,500, $2,000 to freaking go just to see the Greatness Factory, just to tour it, just to be around it. I mean, it's worth that just to get in an environment, to be activated. I don't know if we have Chad Free on here, but he come to my conference a few years ago, said, man, to change my whole life. I've never even been in a conference that changed my life like this. Okay. So it's like, but I got to give the dude credit. And here's the deal. He didn't buy his ticket. Somebody else, one of my other clients, bought a ticket for him. And that dude thanks me every month. It's like, this changed my whole life, man, changed the trajectory of my life. So I think this is a good question. Now, Aaron Gatlin is a general manager at a top restaurant in Houston. He asked me about EOS. They use the EOS system. What I am finding as I coached various companies is the reason EOS and Traction was so popular is so many people do not have an operating system. So there's a lot of randomness and confusion about what the priorities are, about what people's roles are. I totally get it. That's why Traction is incredible. I'm a huge advocate for the EOS system. But I do not believe that system focuses on top line revenue and revenue growth. I think my book, Legacy Selling and Tactical Connection, teaches people how to generate leads. And it opens their mind to multiple strategies to generate money. And I do not think Traction does that. I think it's an operating system for a business. I think it's a genius operating system, but I do not think it is a customer acquisition, sales, and marketing system. And I think you need both of those things, Aaron. And they're two totally different things. So I think you need multiple strategies to generate leads. You need to work people through a sales cycle, through a sales funnel that includes generation of leads, explanation of value, conversion and follow-up, engagement after the sale. And I don't think Traction tackles any of those things. And I'm not being negative toward Traction. I'm just saying, I'm telling you need both of these systems. Okay. You need both of these. So great question there. So Legacy Selling, my book, would tackle that. Flip the Switch tackles it toward the end when I get into the selling system. Okay. So that's what I think everybody needs. Where there's no top line, there's no bottom line, folks. Sales is an expansion activity. Sales is an expansion activity. And a lot of people don't have the prey drive it takes to follow up. You know what I was following up on today, Steve Floyd? People who bought my book for $9.95. I was calling them personally today. They don't answer. I sent them a video. Hey, this is Coach. I'm at the Greatness Factory. I noticed you bought my book, Person of Interest, for $9.95. I just want to thank you personally. The book is not going to change your life. See, this is where I had a little pattern interrupt here. I go, that book ain't going to change your life. That book is going to open your mind. Being coached by me is going to change your life. So would you call me back if you're serious about being coached? And one guy got back to me today. Now, how many other authors in the world do you think are doing that? Sending a video to people that buy a $9.95 book. None of them. Zero. I would match it up against anybody in the world. And I do that because I want to show people I practice what I preach. Everybody see that? I still prospect every day. I still follow up every day. I still try to convert people every day. Because I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm not going to tell people to do something I ain't doing, folks. It's that simple. Okay. Philip Stone, what you got?
You have a favorite boot camp that you're hosting for the remainder of the year out of all the different boot camps that you do?
Tactical Connection is the one on sales that if you don't have a selling system, everybody should be in. Tactical Connection. I assume people have a selling system to generate leads in business, but they don't. And it's like they don't have a consistent strategy to generate leads. So they buy leads or they have one strategy to get leads, and you don't need a few leads, you need thousands of leads. So Tactical Connection is coming up in July 31st. I do think the Activate Conference is one of my favorite events because it's a 2 or 3 day event. And I bring in big time speakers and you're exposed, but it's not about me. I want you to understand you're not coming to Nashville for me. You're coming to be in an environment of other like-minded people who want to do big things. Everybody with me? And if you can't figure out how to make back $1,500 to $2,500 with 100 people that want to do bigger things, then that's on you. You can't walk across the street to a restaurant and have dinner with somebody while you're here and figure out how to make $2,500, then that ain't on Coach Burt. It's on you. Okay. I mean, for the love of goodness. Okay. All right. So that's what I would tell you. And coachburt.com has got all my boot camps. If you're interested in coming to a boot camp, just book a strategy call. Say, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's what my budget is. They're not going to try to hard sell you. Guys, they're just going to talk to you. And if your budget's $1,000, they'll put you in $1,000 program. Your budget's $25,000, they'll put you in a $25,000 program. Okay. They're not going to try to convince you to do something that you don't want to do. They're just going to talk to you. Okay. So this is your next step. Wayne Parker, what's the question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I'm newer to the company, and I just obviously networking is going to be one of the best things. Word of mouth is one of the best things, but also purchasing leads. You can purchase paper leads, or you can get inbound calls. I mean, what would you suggest as a newer agent the best strategy to start tackling this?
What type of agent are you?
I'm a 215 agent, health life annuity,
Okay.
Medicare.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of ways to generate leads. I think I like 4 primary strategies and 2 secondary strategies. Okay. I like 4 primary and 2 secondary. Now, Chase is in this business. I'm actually doing an event with Chase at the Greatness Factory for insurance agents. Because I coach a lot of agents in how to become people of interest, how to become known. Like I'm coaching Chase and how to package his intellectual property. But when it comes to lead generation, I like 4 primary strategies. That would be your primary strategy. Mine are this: showcase events like tonight. I could take a meeting with one person, Tim Nelson, or I could take a meeting with 115 people, which is what I did tonight. That's called the showcase. I like the top 25, which is 25 big relationships of people who introduce me to other people, like gravitate toward like. I like the old-fashioned hit list of who can I help. And I do spend money on ads, and I generate, we spent about $2,000 on ads in the last month on a certain ad. Many of you probably seen that ad. It drove to a strategy call, and it produced right at about $51,000 to $55,000 worth of business. So on a $2,000 investment, we produced $50-something thousand of business. So I would say, I'd say that works. So I'm using social media to drive leads. I'm using showcase events like this to show people. I'm using direct leads of how I generate leads through other ways. And I'm using my top 25 of my greatest people bringing me more people. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does make sense. But what about someone that does not do social media like myself?
Yeah, Chase.
I'm
Chase,
not
what would you say?
on
Let's let Chase.
Facebook or
Yeah.
Instagram.
Let's let Chase answer that. He's in insurance business. He's coaching insurance people. Chase, how would you tell him?
The easiest response to that is get on social media.
Yeah, you got a great voice. You got a great voice, Wayne. You look like a good-looking dude. You need to be on social media. But if you're not going to get on social media, then it's like, okay, what can I do? And I always say you can't sell a secret, man. You can't be a secret agent. Part of selling in the world is becoming known. And the way you become known is you use every medium available to you to become known. right? What can you do to become known to people? And if social media is free, that's why I like it. I can get online and coach people for free. I mean, how many of you would like to take a meeting with 100 something people for your business? That's what I did tonight, right, Eric? You just saw me do it. I come up with a concept. I say, here's a problem. I invite people to it. 200, by the way, almost 300 people enrolled, right, Jana? And 115 showed up. Come on, folks. Where's the commitment? The love of God. 200 people's friggin', who knows, down at Tootsie's, having a drink. Go have a drink when we get finished. Don't have it before, miss the coaching. That's the problem with the world, man. My best friend told me once, he said, you're the worst person in the world to go on vacation with. Van Grafton, Tommy Davidson said this. You know why? He said, you never vacate till you get all your work done. I said, the only way I got a beach house in Florida is because I put the work first. There is no beach house if I don't make the phone calls. Jerry, can I get an amen on that one? I'm like, if I just go to the beach, I don't have a beach house. I got to work to have the beach house. CJ, what's your question? I see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Sorry, I couldn't get unmuted.
There you go.
Okay, so one of the things I heard you on a podcast the first time about the importance of getting in the room, and I followed through on that, and it's been a game changer in my life, getting in the room when you and Renee Rodriguez did the Person of Interest and Amplify event. And I was talking to an amazing couple yesterday, and I was talking to them about just getting in the room and also changing the mindset of this is costing money versus this is an investment. And so I'd just love for you to speak to that, because I think that's been the most important mindset change that you have given me.
Yeah. Why does everybody on this call think all the major influencers who have created millions of dollars all tell you to get in the room with people? And it's because when you do actually get in a room with people, you get exposed to different ways of thinking. See, we had a guy here last week, Chris Rude, who he buys trailer parks. Like, that's how he's made a fortune, buying trailer parks. And like, I'm not interested necessarily. I didn't think I was interested in that. Then I sat in there and listened to him talk a little bit, and he had a clear philosophy. And I go, now this is interesting, because I was in the room. See, the problem is when you don't get in the room, you just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and over, and you cannot see the picture when you're inside the frame. If you could figure out a way to go make millions of dollars, you would have already done it. Okay? Or if you made millions of dollars, you would already done it. So what they're really saying when they say get in the room is they're saying go get exposed to divergent ways of thinking. Go learn from other people. Go be open to new possibility. You see, we did this event with Adam Coffey. I think Jerry's a client with Adam Coffey and JT Fox. And by going through Adam Coffey's stuff, I go, I don't know that I have a sellable asset right now in my business, but I can make a strategic pivot. I can create things. I do have assets. I have real estate assets. I have intellectual property assets. I have what it does is it opens your mind and go, you know what? I'm not quite ready to do that, but I can do this. And you don't know that until you get in a room with somebody and it triggers something in you. And you go, man, I could do this. Like, if he could do it, I could do it. And you know what, more than anything, the Adam Coffey thing taught me, Jerry, was the strategic partnership. Right? I'm doing 4 or 5 venture coaching deals right now, where I pick a company that I think can really do something, or a person, more importantly, a person I think can do something. And then I sew into that person and we go and make money together. Everybody see that? So do you know some people, Eric, didn't come to that event because they said, well, I don't have a sellable company. Why would I go learn from somebody who's bought 58 companies? That's not the point. You go to learn to pick up a new skill. So to Jana's point and CJ's point, you're not investing in me. You're actually investing to learn a new skill. And the new skill is going to help you make more money. Okay. That's what you're learning. You're investing in a skill. Sullivan called it a new capability. You're actually learning a new capability. When I was in strategic coach and they started talking about 10 timesing a business, and they made us do exercises where you had to draw up what 10 times would even look like. How many offices did you have? How many people did you have? If you go from 50,000 to 500,000, that is 10 times in a business. If you go from 100,000 to 1,000,000, that is 10 times in a business. Does everybody understand that? And if you have 10 times something once, you can 10 times something again if you just have a structure on how to do it. And that's what that exposed me to. So I'm like, dang, I didn't even think like this until I got in a room and started thinking like, okay, so the guy beside me was doing 40 million. Guy who I sat beside in class, he was doing 40 million. He was trying to do 400 million. I was doing 500,000 and I was trying to get to 5 million. See the difference? I'm like, dang, you're doing 40 million already. You're trying to get to 400 million. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. It's okay. See, that's what being in the room does for you, folks. Chase and Sophia, and then we're going to call it a night. Then I'm going to Tootsie's for a drink. Y'all done drove me to drink it, folks. Just kidding. Chase, you got something else? Can't see him now. Sophia, go ahead. Oh, I see Chase, but I can't hear.
Hi, Coach. No, I just wanted to like add on to what CJ mentioned about exposure, because I've never been actually exposed to any speaker rather than you, but that was just because I went to an event in the States. And here in Bolivia, we don't have those things.
Yeah.
There's no conferences, there's no people doing big things because it's a third world country. And I think that it's weird for us to have those type of exposures. But I can say that when I saw you for the first time and I got exposed to you and other speakers, it opened my mind to something that I have never been aware of, like how to work, how to speak to people, how to connect, etc. And in the first event, I was like scared. I didn't even know how to approach people, right? And I am thinking about going to Activate 2024. I just need to figure out, flights and everything, but definitely love to get in a room.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, here's the point. You'll go if you go back to Bolivia. I met a pastor from Bolivia once, and we were on a tour together. And I said, I like your jacket, and he took it off and he said, it's yours. He said, you can have it. Now don't fit me. It's too big for me, but I still got it in my closet because I thought, man, what an act of kindness. Like I said, I complimented his jacket. He just took it off and gave it to me. And he said, at some point I want to bring you to Bolivia. And so when you think about it, this will change your trajectory of your life, because if you go back, you'll be light speed ahead of other people for one reason, the exposure that you get. So if you could do that, if she could come from Bolivia, folks, some of you that could get on a plane in the United States have zero excuses. Can we all agree on this? Okay, so good for you. Good for you. Made my whole night right there. Thank you very much. I'd love to see you. All right, tonight's been a great night. It's been a great kickoff. I really do this because I feel called to do it, and I feel like I'm supposed to be activating the drive in people, and that's part of my calling on my life at this point in my life. Is really, people did it for me, and I feel like I'm supposed to be doing it for other people. And I heard Ben Carson preach on Sunday morning, who was one of the top neuroscience, one of the top doctors, neuroscience doctors. He was the guy who actually tried to separate conjoined twins, or there's movies made about him, how he brought his faith into the surgeries that he did. Man, just a fascinating. And there's something about when he was preaching on Sunday, it's like, man, you gotta do these things, coach. You gotta use your skills and talents to help people. So people have done it for me, and I feel like I'm in a period of my life that I'm doing it for other people. So I appreciate you showing up tonight. Tonight is one night of 3 nights. So we're gonna see, Daniel, who has the persistence and the intensity to show up for 3 nights. Now, here's the deal. Joe's gonna be tracking this. I'm only sending the replays to people who show up. Okay. So there's 300 people who signed up. I ain't sending replays to people who didn't show up. So we're gonna pull exactly who showed up tonight. I'd be happy to send you guys a replay, but I ain't sending it to people who couldn't show up tonight. Okay, I just can't do it. So I look forward to coaching you. I want to thank you for tonight. Everybody needs a coach in life. Book a strategy call or get you an Activate ticket. Let's quit messing around with it. Get online tonight, book your flight, come to Nashville in September. Nashville in September is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. The weather's beautiful. The city's beautiful. You'll get access to me. We got private events. You can walk up and ask me questions. I'm telling you, this is where you want to be. Okay. I'm telling you, this is not just a game changer. It will be a life changer for you. Okay. So thank you to everybody. I'll see you back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Everybody needs a coach in life. Love you guys. Thank you.